Sometimes the world looks like you ain't ever seen it before. Stuck behind never-ending windows, all you need is a door. Searching for something to put a smile back on your face. Just remember, in unusual times, it can come from an unusual place. You need a partner for the ride, 'cause everybody needs a Clyde. So set your worries to the side. Just ask, say the word and I'll be there. Just ask, you know the greatest things in life all come in a pair. They say hindsight's 20/20, but that ain't far enough behind me. So if you want the sweetest honey, I think hindsight's 1990. There's no need to pretend I got a hand I can lend, 'cause when you really need a friend, just ask. Shit 90 shows taught me.
Shit 90 Shows Taught Me was not filmed before a live studio audience.
Welcome back to Shit 90 Shows Taught Me. I'm Jess Sterling here with my co-host, Sara Fergenson. Sarah, how are you?
Jessica, you have podcast?
Yes.
Yeah, you have podcast. You look good for a podcaster.
Thank you so much.
Better or not seen vibes.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. It's January, and we're
Yeah.
talking Thanksgiving on Felicity today.
We're doing it.
Oh
We're
my
doing
gosh.
it,
This
everybody.
episode, I have to say, we were talking a little bit before we started recording about how sometimes we're like ever so slightly spoiled in like the dumbest way possible, where it's like we might know big episodes are coming up because people want to guest on them, right? Like people want to guest on the big episodes. This makes sense. We don't have a guest this episode. And so, not that this is a big episode, but like I have to say, I watched this episode and absolutely loved it.
Yeah, me too. I think it's the first time that I was like, oh, this is very, very fun. I like this a lot.
This
Like-
okay, this gave me vibes of, not that the other episodes haven't been good. I just want to clarify.
Well,
Some of them haven't. But
I'll
like
say it. Like, I mean, like, I gotta be like, I mean, yeah, like it's definitely to have Dawson's Creek be like, I used to say like this is my favorite show that I'm currently watching the last
Yeah.
3 years. I'm like, you know, Felicity wasn't at that caliber, but
exactly. But now I felt like Thanksgiving was the first episode where I felt like the vibes were there. Like, and I know that is such a generic thing to say, but it was like I felt like, okay, oh, we're here now. Like now we've established our characters, like what they're doing makes sense. I don't hate everyone.
no.
And on top of that, I felt like it was one of the first times where we got most of our important characters in one room together, which there's something magical about it, Sarah. Like
Yeah.
on an ensemble show, like I'm looking at Friends, I'm looking at Community, like shows like that where all your characters are in one room, those tend to be my favorite episodes of those shows.
So true.
And so when we got
Absolutely true.
this, I was like, even though it took all the way till the end of the episode to happen, I was so pleased, even though a lot of it didn't make a ton of sense. And I was like, why? But even still, I'm so excited to talk about this episode. I'm so
Yeah.
excited to talk about the breakout star Javier, the icon that he is.
Yeah, also, yeah, totally. I think that there was like speculation that like Javier would be like my favorite character. And I was like, the first couple times we met Javier, I was like, oh, I don't see it. He's kind of mean, but like
Yeah.
mean in a way that I enjoy.
Yeah. Javier is an
Yeah.
icon. I mean,
Yeah,
we're
absolutely.
gonna jump right into talking about him because he's like in the first scene of the episode. But yeah, suffice it to say that I felt like once I was done watching this episode, this was one of the first episodes where I was like, I can immediately watch that again. Like I really
Yes.
could.
Yeah.
And that's a good episode when you're like when you want to rewatch it. So We're here, folks. We're in the heart of Felicity, I feel like now. And we're also like there's tea, there's drama this episode. Again,
Yeah,
like there's a
so
there's a,
fun.
a Hannah appearance. Like, why did no one want to guest on this episode? It's a great episode.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure, but like I gotta say, like maybe I should have been like more patient with the show Felicity because this is the first season. Most shows need a season at least to get into the
Yeah.
groove of things. Like I am sorry for the sins that I have done.
So yeah, we're talking Thanksgiving. That's the literal episode or title, season 1, episode 9. And we start out with usually we get this like big monologue from
Hmm.
Felicity, but no, I loved that we jump right into things where we're at Dean and DeLuca, and Javier is having a conversation with Felicity, and he's telling her that if Nono's going to be there for Thanksgiving, he's not going. And there's a little space out by the garage. She's going to leave him out there. And I love that Felicity's like, wait a minute, is Nono a dog? And Javier's just like, no.
No, but I'm not gonna elaborate who No is.
He
But
gets pulled away to work.
I think No is like Nana. No
That's
has
what
to be
I was
has to be
thinking.
Grandpa,
But
right?
why does he want her out by the garage?
Because No is no, just no. That's it. That's all
Yeah.
you get.
I loved this, and I love that, like, okay, because we had said, like, why does Javier hire Felicity? You know what I mean? Like, she's a fuck up, she's dramatic, but I feel like after we get this tiny, teeny, like, morsel of a scene with Javier, it is so apparent to me that Javier is like, girl, I recognize that you have drama like I have drama, and I need that energy around me so that I'm not the only one with drama.
That or yeah, I think that he's definitely feeding off of Felicity's energy and also like not like I don't know if he's like manipulative like this, but like I think that he also probably sees that Felicity is pretty malleable and maybe a little bit of a pushover. And it's
Yeah.
like, if he's like, hey, Felicity, I need you to work a double today, Felicity will just stumble over her words as I just did and and be agreeable. But yeah, like obviously she's a drama factory and he loves to see it. So
Yeah, I think he just feasts on the drama, you know? When you work at
yes.
like a cafe, I feel like 50% of the reason you would want that job is because of the drama.
Yes, and kind of like we just covered Empire Records. There's just something about
Oh,
a
oh,
place
yes.
where mostly young people work. It
Yes.
is like a fester of drama and incestual relationships amongst
Yes.
the coworkers and fights and remember we were talking about like Javier is kind of like Empire Records Joe, where he's
Yes.
like a little bit older and a little bit too close to the teenagers.
Yes, that is
But
exactly who Javier is, and I felt like this episode did such a good job with him in setting that up because previously he really wasn't around a ton, and so to then get like these where I feel like I have a very clear idea of who Javier is after this
yeah,
episode.
yeah. And I think the show figured out who Javier is as well. Like I think that
Yeah.
like maybe at first he was supposed to be the like mean boss, and then they're like, this is not going to work, but we can be like
Can be
petty
cool
mean.
boss. Yeah, the petty
Cool,
boss.
petty, like mean, like snarky, but like lovable, who's someone that doesn't have a filter. It's just all good. And
Yeah.
we see Julie, everybody goes to this Dean and DeLuca, like it's the place to go. I guess
Yeah.
it's probably like the local coffee shop that's like down the block from NYU. And Julie
Yeah.
shows up and everyone's trying to get ready for leaving for Thanksgiving break.
Yeah,
And
Felicity in her voiceover talks about the fact that she's supposed to be going home for Thanksgiving and like she has plans for like the entire long weekend. And she's basically like, I have to put up with my parents. Like, I'll just have to get through it. And then Julie comes in, and gosh, I love this like tiny moment where Felicity asks, like, oh, how are you doing? And Julie is like immediately irritated because like obviously I love the continuity, right? Like, we're not just gonna
Mhm.
forget the sexual
Never.
assault that happened last
Thank
episode.
goodness, thank goodness.
But Julie is like frustrated because she's like, please, can everyone like stop asking me that? Like, I feel like every time someone asks me that, they think I'm about to just cry everywhere. And and Felicity's like, okay, got it. I will not be doing that. And I appreciated that from her.
Yeah, I mean, Felicity's like such the MVP this episode, because I think that it's the first time where I'm like, you're actually being a good friend.
Yes. Okay, because we're going to talk about like obviously the Noel stuff as like a separate thing. However,
Yeah.
I will say, oh my God, I don't know why this like makes me feel emotional, but like the way Felicity was I mean, not that she really wanted to go home anyway, but like pretty much immediately was like, my girl Julie needs me. I'm going to be here with her. And
Yeah.
I was like, I mean, it's a bit selfish in terms of she doesn't want to go home anyway. But like staying at home and trying to figure out a thing, or staying in a dorm and trying to figure out like a Thanksgiving dinner certainly isn't like the top of my list of things I want to do.
Okay, let's be honest. Felicity is 30% there for Julie. Such a good friend.
Yes.
But no, actually 33%. Let's do thirds.
Okay.
33.333% there for
Yes.
Julie. 33% there because she doesn't want to go home. And 33% that she wants to stalk Noel and Hannah. Like,
Okay,
let's be
this
transparent
is fair. This
here.
is all very fair. This is fair. However, I still felt like she made a very good effort to help Julie with everything going on with Thanksgiving and make her feel better. But
I
very fair.
totally agree.
Very
But
fair.
like, let's be very clear about
Let's not
her
give
intentions
let's
here.
not give Felicity a gold medal. Maybe just like a silver or a bronze.
Wait, hold on. Meet new friends, but keep the old. One is silver, but the other is gold, which I learned from Girl Scouts. But like, also, bitch, why are you ranking friends?
Yeah,
And
what's
why
wrong
is,
with you, bitch?
Why is the Girl Scouts teaching to rank your friends?
This
Which
is the problem with society.
Well, everyone's like, Sarah, why do you like ranking so much? Well, bitch, I was a fucking Girl Scout. They told me
Yeah.
to rank.
I was told, as
It-
millennials, we were taught
yeah.
everything must have a label and a ranking system. Okay.
Yeah, I legit was chasing that BFF necklace from all the bitches.
Yeah.
Every single bitch. I wanted the other half of their BFF necklace.
I love the idea of you going home and being like, which half BFF necklace should I wear today? Do I want to be best friends with Elizabeth, or do I want to be?
Yeah. And then when they took their best friend necklaces back, I burned their house down.
Oh my God.
No, that never happened because nobody ever gave me their BFF necklace. Because let's be clear, like I went to Claire's and bought like 8 of them, hoping that somebody would accept my other half.
Oh my God, that's terrible. That's awful.
Yeah, well,
Mom's
you know
bad.
what? I would you should be. But
but here's the tea. Here's the drama. So Felicity's like, "Oh, aren't you going to be lonely, like staying on campus all by yourself?" And she's like, "No. It's going to be fine. I'm not even going to be totally alone because Noel's staying here. He's staying for dorm monitoring." And Felicity's like, "Oh, okay, yeah." And Julie spills the tea. She says, "Guess what? Hannah's coming to town, bitch." Now, I don't remember.
Julie.
I'm going to check on our little guesses here. Do we have anything about Hannah? You had a guess about Hannah. Would you like me to remind you of what your theory or your prediction was about Hannah?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Noel's girlfriend Hannah shows up, so check mark, and she's blonde, with perfectly straight hair. Check.
Okay, well,
I
at least she has
2 out of 3. 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
She does show up, but she's not blonde, but she does have perfectly straight hair.
Yeah. I'm not surprised because I remember us discussing Hannah. I was like, the reason why we don't see a picture of Hannah is because they haven't cast Hannah yet. So I'm not surprised that we get Jennifer Garner as Hannah, an established actress, at least established in some sort of form.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Did
look
she
it up
do
right now.
Alias yet? Is Alias happening now? Is it happening in the future?
I think it's happening ever so slightly after this, but I'm going to check on her on Jennifer Garner's IMDb right now because she looks very young in this. So I was like, I don't really know like where this falls in her timeline.
Yeah, so it's interesting because like I think that was a very thought out, like we will be bringing Hannah and she will be like a focal point, and I really enjoyed this. But
yeah,
Felicity did not enjoy this news because I think that like, especially because Hannah was supposed to come the day after Felicity was supposed to leave, so this puts a wrench in everything because Felicity just can't not. She really
She's
can't.
so curious. I feel like I don't know why every show we watch where I'm just like, I always see a bit of you in the characters, but I'm just like, Felicity just wants to know. She's too curious that she wants to know at least what Hannah looks like, right? Because Hannah is her competition. Like, whether or not Felicity wants to admit it, Hannah is her competition. Also,
Yeah.
I looked it up. Jennifer Garner was on Felicity in 1998. An Alias started in 2004. So
Okay.
it's like 6 years later. In
But
between, she did do Catch Me If You Can and Daredevil. But like it was right after Alias that, or I guess Alias started or whatever, that like 13 going on 30 starts. Oh, wait, no. Sorry.
Seventh Heaven?
Alias is 2001. Okay, so there's only 4 years between Felicity and Alias.
But was she she was in Seventh Heaven, right?
No, she was not in Seventh Heaven. You're thinking
Ooh.
of Jessica Biel.
Got it. So was she in anything up
Oh,
to this point?
she has plenty of things on her IMDb, yes. But nothing, in my opinion, that is like that I see as like this is huge. Before Felicity.
Okay. Well, anyway, a breakout star on the horizon, and this,
Yeah.
like I said, it definitely throws a wrench into Felicity's plans. And I do want to give Felicity credit of being a good friend to Julie. She needs to, like, Julie. It's really sad because the storyline with Julie is obviously she just got raped and by her boyfriend, and her boyfriend got kicked out of school. So that was a lifeline that she thought that she could trust, that she could not. And she doesn't want to go home and face her parents because we find out later in the episode that she feels as though, like, if she tells her parents, they're going to look at her differently. And like, all she really wants in the world is for her parents to drop everything and just show up without her asking.
Yeah.
And which, oh God, that's so heart-wrenching. Like, I totally understand that feeling. Like, let me be clear, I don't want any of my parents to just show up at the door, but like I definitely wanted like people to show up without me asking. Like that's that's all we want in this world, is like
Yeah.
we really want people to show up when they when you need it the most. And then
Yeah.
to see Elena get that, oh, such a gut-wrenching feeling. That is
Yeah.
totally me when I spent like so many years watching all of my friends get engaged before me. Just like a punch in the face. Like, all you're doing in this world is just living. It's like the equivalent to, like, I really want a PS5 and everybody else on Christmas got a PS5 but me.
Yeah.
What bullshit. Anyway, let's move forward to the episode because we get Noel and he's saying goodbye to
Lewis.
Who's Lewis?
Isn't Lewis one of the ones that like there was roommate drama and one guy was gonna kill another guy and Lewis was like the victim in that situation? Like the other guy had knives or something?
I feel like he was the guy that wanted to kill somebody.
I don't know, maybe. But so he leaves. It's just, yeah, who really cares? It doesn't really matter.
Well, he
But
gives him a hug.
yeah, he
Who
gets a
doesn't
little
love
he gets a
him?
little hug goodbye. Of course Noel walks in on Felicity trying to pack her suitcase. Very typical. This feels like every show has done this where a person can't close their suitcase because it's too full.
Mhm.
And Noel comes in and it's just like, oh, okay, great. Here, sit on my suitcase. But here's the thing, Sarah. This is another thing where I was like, oh my God, Sarah and Felicity, they're a lot alike. Where she's like, she's like, listen, you have to babysit my plant while I'm gone for a few days. And he goes over and it's an avocado pit in a glass of water. And
Yeah.
you've not only done this, but also I was like, okay, because you've done this, and I know after talking to you about like the situation with avocado pits and all of that, this avocado pit can sit here for a few days and it would be fine. I don't think it needs a babysitter.
No, it really doesn't. And I think that, so she's like, you have to change the water every day. I changed the water like once a week and it was fine.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a bit extra, but it is like, hey, it looks like what you would expect an avocado pit rooting in water to look like. And this is also, we get like the appearance of a magic 8-ball. And I don't know if this is important. It felt like a specifically notable thing, but I guess like Felicity had borrowed Noel's magic 8-ball. And I'm like, Why?
It's just college shit, Jessica. When I went to college, I brought my own Magic 8 Ball, and I brought the weirdest knickknacks to college. I don't know why. I brought, like those like little bellhop ringers, bells.
Yes.
I brought that. Why? I don't know. I brought my gnome
Yeah.
collection. Why?
Just like,
I
oh,
don't
I need to
know.
borrow this. Okay. Well, it's like she needed to help make decisions.
Yeah.
And so she borrowed the 8 ball, and they have like a thing about like, oh, I got Outlook good. No, you didn't. And again, another thing where I was like, oh my God, Felicity and Sarah are the same person, where she's like, no, I got Outlook good. That's why I packed my mock turtleneck.
Well, I mean, I pack my turtlenecks like no matter what. Like you got to pack all your turtlenecks. I have, I've talked a lot about this, but my love for turtlenecks sees no bounds. Like
Yeah.
I love a turtleneck. I trust them. I know them. No necks are found between September and April. Not
No
one neck.
necks, not a single neck appears.
No. And mostly
Yeah.
because there's hickeys all over my neck.
All
But
right.
no, I'm
Why?
joking.
Why on the podcast?
I'm joking. I'm joking.
But yeah, Felicity is a little bit sassy. She's a little passive aggressiva here when she's like asks the 8 ball, is Noel's girlfriend coming to New York?
Yeah.
It's
Instead
like,
of
oh
just having
shit.
a direct conversation like an adult, we're going to uh be petty because for petty's sake. And he apologizes for not telling her. And it is very weird and tensionful because like obviously Felicity's still mad about the fact that he initiated a kiss, like he
Yes.
initiated feelings for her, like
Yes.
he was like creepy stalker, and he wasn't transparent in having a girlfriend. And
Yeah.
she found out like mid date when she thought that this date was like the start of
She was
something.
starting to get feelings. She was catching feelings for Noel at that date.
Mhm.
And that's when she finds out and like flips out on him.
Yeah.
Rightfully so.
Rightfully so.
yeah.
And of course she's mad, and she's like she's being like a smidge petty about it because it's just like yeah, like you aren't even being transparent with me. Like I thought we were like really close
Yeah.
friends. Like so I don't know. It's interesting, and
Yeah.
he's already really awkward about
He
it.
is like, because Felicity tries to pull the like, oh, well, you could talk to me about Hannah because we're friends, right? And they like roll, it's like they look at the 8 ball, it says, oh, it's decidedly so, whatever. But like everyone and their mother knows, like, no, there's still like something going on between them. And Felicity is not okay, or at least like very curious to see Hannah and
I
like
would
see
be.
what her competition is. Of course, who wouldn't be? If all
Yeah.
you had was like a tiny photo to go off of, I mean, and this is the day before like social media really was a thing. So it's not like you could have internet stalked them, Like,
Yeah.
so
Have
you
you
only would
ever
have a
Mm.
one-on-one like interaction in person to be able to judge that person off of.
You've never met like an ex of Will's
No.
or like a girl that he had a crush on?
No, like I don't even honestly, if I'm being honest, I don't know that I've even seen a photo of anyone Will has ever dated. Like
No?
I've heard stories and like I've heard names that I don't remember, but like no, honestly, no. And a part of the reason is like he didn't have like super significant relationships. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So
Even
it's a
like
little
a girl,
different.
like a friend that was a girl.
No,
Does Will have friends?
he has friends.
I'm
He doesn't have
joking.
a
I'm
ton of
joking.
like,
I'm
he
joking.
doesn't have it. No, he doesn't have a ton of like friends that are girls that I'm not also friends with, if that makes sense. You know
True.
what I mean?
I understand. Yeah.
But no, I mean, listen, if it was a thing, right? Like I will full on admit to this. If Will and I had started dating and I knew that like maybe he was recently out of a relationship, or like I knew he had had a significant relationship that lasted like multiple years, blah, blah, blah. You bet your bottom fucking dollar I would have been internet stalking the fuck out of that person.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Obviously, I'm a human,
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like you're very similar, right? Like it would kind of kill us to only have a photo of Hannah to go off of.
Right. Yeah, I think so. Like obviously she doesn't know much about Hannah. She doesn't really know what their relationship is like. We know that they've been long distance for a while. They're high school sweethearts. So yeah, a lot of curiosity around it. And I don't know. For me, I'm such a jealous bitch that I would just like, oh, I don't know. But I don't own him. They're not together. They're
Yeah,
not
exactly. They're not
together.
together. That's the thing that she has to remember. Is like as much as her and Nola are very close, this is his girlfriend, and so like it's tricky. And then we're at Ben's apartment, and he is like he's trying to find things. And Sean comes out because he's packing because he's going home, and Sean comes out. And let me just say, the more I see of Sean, the more I absolutely adore him as a character because I love when there are characters who don't provide a ton of like, there's not a lot of depth, right?
Yeah.
However, they have like specific quirks. And obviously, Sean's is like he's an inventor, right? He invents things, he has creative ideas. But I don't know why this cracked me up so much. He comes out and he's in his robe and he has shaving cream all over his face. And he's like, hey, where's your razor? And he's like, I packed my razor. I need it. He's like, and it turns out that he's been using his razor this entire
That's so gross
It
and
is.
so dangerous because it's so easy to nick yourself, and that just feels like a I don't know, like contamination, like accidental
Yeah.
STD, like I don't know. It gives me the creeps. And like
It's gross, like, and
yeah.
especially because razors are, like, fairly inexpensive. Like, you can get, like, disposable razors for very cheap. So I don't
Yeah.
know why he's borrowing someone else's.
I don't he's so interesting. And you're right, like he's so quirky, and it's something that like you don't I feel like you see it in sitcoms where there's just like some rando quirky character, and he kind of reminds me of like a young Mr. Heckles.
Um,
Is that his name from
from
Friends?
Friends, the
Yes.
downstairs neighbor.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
let's
you
like
know what? I could see Sean growing up to be Mr. Heckles. Like, you'd have
yes.
to have a good amount of, like, bitterness in between, like, bad life
Yeah.
circumstances in
Well,
between,
the
but
the
I
the
see
issue is
it.
that none of his inventions ever took off, and it's like why he has like all these random knickknacks because he's like inventing stuff and collecting stuff. Like I can just totally see that is what he turns into. But it also just like reminds me of like a Disney Channel character where there's just like this one guy that like only eats corn dogs. Like it's just like
Yeah!
such like a weird sitcom thing.
Especially yes, you're totally right, it gives sitcom vibes because when he like, there's tiny moments with him where he picks up the magazine and he's, like, reading it and he's like, "Oh, there's gonna be huge planes in the future." And it's like, "What? What? Why?"
Like,
Um,
yes, and
yeah, so, but yeah, he talks about his plans for Thanksgiving. He has this huge family thing that his brother throws on Long Island, and I was like, I am so unsurprised to find out Sean is from Long Island.
he gives Long Island vibes.
It
Yeah.
really does. Anybody who is like around the like New
Mhm.
York, New Jersey area, like will know exactly what we're talking about. Like my husband is from Long Island. There's
Yeah.
like, although I don't think my husband gives Long Island vibes. If I'm being honest, I don't think he does. But certain people give Long Island vibes, and Sean gives Long Island
Yeah.
vibes.
He's from Farmingdale. That's where he's from. I know it. I can
What is
tell.
Farmingdale?
It's just in Long Island.
Oh, Sean is, you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Um, and so
A Massapequa baby.
oh, and we find and we find out Sean has also been using Ben's deodorant, which is like honestly a crime against humanity.
Yeah. Okay, so we've talked about this before. What's worse? Razor using somebody else's razor, using somebody else's deodorant, using somebody else's toothbrush.
Oh, this is a fantastic question. Let's see.
I
I think
think
toothbrush might be the worst because it's going in someone's mouth.
I think that use somebody's razor that you're not supposed to, and you can get AIDS, is what I'm thinking. I think that
I
that's the
guess that's
most
fair.
dangerous.
I guess I don't really understand. I never understood why razors. It's like, you know how like there's always this trope where if a girl shaves her legs with her boyfriend's razor and then he uses it on his face, he like cuts himself. I don't understand why that happens.
Because you dull it.
Oh.
You
Well, either
dull.
way, um, no, I still think toothbrush is the worst, but razor is really bad. Deodorant, I don't think is as bad. I in
Picks are
fact
pits,
have.
you
I mean,
know?
exactly. I've let my husband borrow my deodorant when we were traveling, and he like forgot to pack
Lady
his.
speed stick.
He did have to use a woman's deodorant, but it was fine. I mean, like, listen, I told him I will let you borrow this, but if there's a single hair in it when it gets back in my possession, I will murder you. So it's your responsibility to pick the hairs out.
Are you a soft solid, or a gel deodorant girly? Or are you a spray? Well, that would make sense.
I use I believe it's solid. I don't know what a semi-solid deodorant is.
It's in between. That's the one that I use.
I could just tell you the brand I use and then you would know.
I
I
use
believe I use Dove deodorant.
who cares? But I like the Secret Clinical Strength because it's not
Sorry, I'm
embarrassing
no sorry. It was just I was not expecting this.
because it really works.
Listen, I will tell you right now, there are days where I'm like, no, I'm going to put on extra deodorant because I'm feeling specifically spicy down there. And I'm not about to have that in my
Down
life.
there.
Well, down, below my head, down in the pits. I'm not putting deodorant anywhere else. That seems dangerous.
You might.
There is a thing though, I will let people know.
Yeah.
If you're a girly or a boy, if you're somebody who suffers from a little bit of the tree trunk leg situation, a little bit of the thunder thigh situation, and you get a little bit of the chub rub, we all don't be embarrassed. It happens. I got thick thighs. I have since birth. I came out and they were just roaring, ready to go. There is a thing you can get that I forget the name of it, but I can picture it. It looks like deodorant and it's in a blue container. And you put it, and if you know you're going to be like in a sundress and it's going to be hot, you put it between the thighs and it like helps with the chafing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to help people out.
I know. I own it. It is you're like talking like it's a revolutionary product.
Well, people might not know about it. I'm trying to help the people. Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't use other people's personal products without their consent, I think is the main rule.
Yeah, that's the lesson here. But the whole concept of this podcast is shit the 90s taught me. We learned in the 90s that you can't use somebody else's shit. That's what we
Yes, that is what we've learned. And we learned you can't internet stalk people.
Yeah, we're 6 minutes in this podcast.
We're never gonna finish this episode.
We're gonna be here until next year. Okay, so Felicity is saying goodbye to Elena. Elena's leaving, bringing all her books, which Felicity is surprised about. She's going to her dad's.
He only lives like 30 minutes away, which I was like, whoa, that's very close to be dorming. But hey, girl, do you?
Well, I mean, she obviously has some weird stuff with her family because Felicity says, have fun with your dad. And she says that would be a first. Yikes. So Felicity then goes to Julie's room. And Julie is hiding away in her blanket, which is private cocooning time.
She really, again, everything. I don't know why. This is going to sound weird, Sarah, but everything reminds me of you, where I saw this and I was like, she's cocooning.
I love to cocoon in bed and cry under there. That's sacred. But, she finds Julie and she's crying. And Felicity is like, because Julie said, you can't ask me if I'm okay unless you see me like breaking down crying. And Felicity's like, I'm going to ask you if you're okay now. And this is where she decides she's going to stay because she sees that Julie is in need. And I thought that this was like really big of Felicity. I thought that she was being a really good friend in this moment.
Yeah, because Julie says like, and not that I've been through what Julie has been through, but like the idea of not knowing how to exist around her parents post what happened to her. You know what I mean? Like not knowing what to say, not knowing what to do. And then on top of that, feeling like, well, you said it, like maybe I will be lonely. And I really like that Felicity, like, again, we've said she's certainly not only staying here for Julie, but I like it feels like in this moment that she was like, I'm not going home. I'm staying with my friend Julie.
Yeah, I really loved it. She was like, we can cook a big dinner. We can have Thanksgiving together. It'll be so cool. Our first Thanksgiving away from home on our own. And they're about to set off and start going shopping for this Thanksgiving dinner. And guess who they run into at the elevator?
Oh my God. Incredible moment where they bump into Noel and Hannah, and Hannah is played by Jennifer Garner. She has and like, here's the thing. We all knew that whoever Noel was dating was going to be a straight hair girly. We just knew it because Felicity has the curliest, loveliest hair, that it had to be someone who was like organized, had straight hair, wasn't a lunatic, and also, of course, has teeny tiny glasses.
Yeah, the total opposite of Felicity. I agree. Those glasses are a crime against humanity, but it's okay. I hate those glasses.
They're so bad, but they're so of the time, Sarah. Like,
they are.
I had glasses like that too. We all did.
It's just so depressing because like Jennifer Garner is somebody that doesn't have like tiny little like pixie features like Felicity.
Yeah.
And like her facial structure really would do better with a larger glasses, but that wasn't the style of the time, so she looks like terrible.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it makes me so depressed because like, once again, like I thought that I was just such an uggo because I couldn't wear glasses well, and it's because I needed the bigger glasses, but that's what was not in style at the time. But nonetheless, this is such an awkward interaction because
it's
Noel,
so terrible. He introduces them as like his advisees, like not even his friends.
Yeah, these kids over here.
Oh, it was so awful, right? And he like goes, he's like, oh, we find out that apparently Julie is from Maine, which I don't know that we knew. And yeah, it's just so awkward because he starts to say to Hannah, like, oh, Felicity's from, and Felicity's like, oh, she doesn't care where I'm from. And I'm like, wait, Felicity, you're making it, they're both, Noel, I'm gonna just say Felicity and Noel are both at fault for this awkward interaction.
I don't think so. I really thought it was mainly Noel.
Noel started it. Noel started the awkwardness, which I felt like Felicity picked up on and then continued.
Introduces Julie first and does not introduce Felicity. Felicity has to cut in and introduce herself. And then from there, her pettiness came out and was like, I don't know, like I'm pissed that you're not introducing me and you're not introducing us as your friends. We hang out all the time. And on top of that, you just called us kids. So the interaction is weird. If I was Hannah, I would be picking up on this shit right away.
Oh, 1,000%. And I do think, I will say, like, we don't get a ton from Hannah, but I do think she feels the vibes. Like, she definitely, at the very least, knows shit is off, but she can't quite pin down what it is.
Yeah, doesn't she keep asking, like, did you eat beets? Because whenever you eat beets, you have an allergic reaction.
Yeah, she says he gets a reaction when he eats beets. Like, what a weird thing to what a weird anecdote. But yeah. So yeah, it's very, very awkward. It turns out that Hannah also is a pianist, like she composes, and it's like, again, she gives very, and I feel like Jennifer Garner gives girl next door vibes anyway.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, yeah, it's all very much.
Yeah. So I think that Felicity is already starting to feel threatened. I think that she recognizes that she is really the opposite of Hannah, and maybe it's like probably alarming because it's kind of like when you ask your significant other who their celebrity crush is, and if they look the exact opposite of you, you're like, what am I, excuse me, you know? Like if you look
that's very fair. It's like, how can you be attracted to both of us at the same time?
Yeah, like if you look like an Amanda Seyfried and they say that like their crush is like an Angelina Jolie, it's like, what are we doing here? Like that is the exact opposite of like who I am. Maybe not. Maybe Angelina Jolie is closer to Amanda Seyfried anyway, because they both have like
big
whatever.
Eyes and but
you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
But Noel and Hannah immediately are like, they're making out in bed, they're like, tops are coming off. And it's like very strange because they seem very hot and heavy for like 2.5 seconds. And then Noel seems to be like, I mean, they both kind of back off, but Noel is the first one to be like, so, are you hungry?
Do you think that Noel came in his pants? Is that what happened here? Is that the
Oh,
issue?
no.
No, I'm joking. I don't think that that's
Okay.
what
I was
happened.
gonna say I'm pretty sure he was, like, very mentally distracted by the Felicity
Yeah, I think
interaction.
so too. It gets awkward. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
because Hannah tries again and Noel like pushes off of her. So it's off. The
Yeah.
vibes are off. Like I think that they definitely it's been I do agree with the notion that like it takes a little bit to get back into the swing of things, but you can just tell that something is like not right between them.
Yeah, I mean, I personally, and obviously we'll learn later about Hannah's situation, but I felt very strongly that it wasn't just Noel from like this point because it wasn't like he was like, "Are you hungry?" and she was like, "No, I want to fuck you right here." Like she was just like, "Yeah, okay, I guess. Like whatever, that's fine."
Yeah.
I don't know that she was it felt like they both were making out because they felt like they were should be making out.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Um
So we
yeah.
see Julie and Felicity come back with a heap ton of groceries. It seems as though they don't have access to an oven, so everything is microwavable, which is cursed, but
This
whatever.
feels awful. This is like a terrible, terrible plan, especially because we'll get into it later, but I'm like, why didn't you buy like a pre-cooked turkey or like a rotisserie chicken? It doesn't make any sense to try to make your own turkey, but okay. But they run into Ben, who apparently has some screw up with his plane ticket. He still has to like track it down, and he finds out, oh, they're staying here. Like we thought it would be fun. And hey, if you're around, we're doing dinner at 6 o'clock if you want to join.
Yeah. And he's like, no, 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 I'm gonna figure it out. I
Yeah.
don't understand, like, how is he looking for his plane ticket?
So he said something in the beginning of the episode where it was like his okay, this is like way back in the day, right? So you needed a physical plane ticket. It wasn't like on
Yeah,
your cell phone. I
sure.
believe his parents purchased him a ticket and he was responsible for retrieving said ticket from like somewhere. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Is this like the Western Union type of thing?
I
Like
think so.
I have to or, like, maybe there's, like, an actual ticket agency and you have to go to the
Right.
ticket agency. It feels so stupid,
But this is
but
the reality of the 90s, I think.
that's
It's
what they
like,
had to do is just
yeah.
go and get a physical ticket from somebody. It didn't or, like, unless it, like because remember when concert tickets came in the mail?
Yes.
Like, oh, or, like,
Yeah.
Broadway tickets, like yeah.
Everything was physical. Everything was like a physical piece of paper.
Yeah, like it wasn't even a printable ticket, but so bizarre. But anyway, we see Elena and her dad, and this is an interesting interaction because like her dad's like very focused on the TV, and Elena is very focused on making her father proud of her, which I don't think that her father's not proud of her. Like, because she shows him a paper that she wrote with a high grade, and he's like, that's amazing. Like, you're the second highest in your class. That's incredible. Like, Alina, no offense, but like, what else do you want besides that praise? Maybe it's because like I don't get praise from my parents like that,
No,
but
I got a similar vibe that you did where like she was like, "Look, I got a 94. It was like the second highest in my class." And he looks like it's not like he just is like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah," and doesn't even look. He takes the paper, he looks at it. I don't know if she wanted him to read it. I would have never expected my parents to read a paper on like inorganic chemistry. Like
yeah.
I wouldn't have expected that, but it definitely feels this is where I think I land on this, where I think that there is so much bad history between them already that like it takes almost nothing for Elena to be like, "Oh, this was a waste of my time," you know?
Yeah, I guess like maybe she wanted him to engage in conversation a little bit, like what do you find interesting in this course? Like what's going on? Like maybe she wanted him to ask more questions and he just like goes back to the TV. She also wanted to make a dinner for just two of them, but he had already made arrangements to go to a neighbor's house and she was not happy about that either.
Yeah, she wanted it just to be the two of them. And I think the vibes that I'm getting from this is that her father is so afraid to have one-on-one time with his daughter that he will do almost anything to prevent that, which includes going to the neighbors for dinner. And I think she's like peeved because that is not what she understood the arrangement to be. She
Mhm.
wanted one-on-one time with her father.
Well, okay. Like here's my argument, but with that, like I totally agree with you, but also like Elena could be spending all day in the kitchen, or she could spend all day next to her dad and spend quality
Yeah.
time with him, and then
Yeah.
they can somebody else can take on the responsibility of cooking. But different strokes for different folks.
Yeah. But back to Noel and Hannah, who are eating at a diner, and Hannah has news. She got accepted into the New York Conservatory, and she
Big.
didn't even tell him she had applied because she was like, I didn't even know if I would get in. And we had that talk about how you and I would be so much better if we were together. And I thought, what the hell? I didn't know. And I really like that immediately Hannah is able to pick up on the fact that Noel is like not immediately happy with this news, that he seems like very conflicted about everything. And she's like, well, I could transfer like next semester if I wanted to. And he does the whole like, oh my gosh, that's fantastic. And
Yeah.
like the thing is, Sarah, when you've been dating someone for long enough, they can read your body language very well. And he puts his hand on his forehead and she's like, that's the thing you do when you're stressed. Like you're obviously very stressed by this.
Yeah, it's all very transparent to her that he is not over the moon excited for this. And obviously, like he's just thinking to Felicity and thinking, gosh, I have a lot less freedom with her in New York, which is terrible. But that is the reality of what's going on between them. So I like how
Mhm.
she calls it out. It's not like she's not holding on to these little tidbits of like this is off. Like she is calling his shit out, which I definitely appreciate.
I do too. I like that. I think Hannah is such an interesting character, given I think her personality is very interesting, where she is like, she is not someone who's just going to be like, go along with the flow, even though it's very obvious that Noel is troubled by something. And I like that she also is like, well, listen, like you have your RA stuff to figure out. Like, we'll talk about it. We don't have to decide right this second.
Yeah.
Like,
She's very level-headed, which
yes,
is very refreshing.
and different.
Refreshing. It's different. And also but also it's like so interesting that like Noel is attracted to someone who like Felicity, who is like very airy and like
Flighty
very
and
flighty and
well, I think it's like partly because Hannah, if I'm remembering correctly, was like his high school sweetheart, right?
mhm.
And I truly feel like when you're dating someone who's like your high school sweetheart, you don't really know anything else. Like you're dating like your first love in a sort. And so you don't really know what it is that you're looking for in a relationship. And I'm not saying this is for everybody, right? Like my parents are high school sweethearts. Like it's fine. But like I'm just saying that a lot of times you date someone and you're not really sure what it is that you want in a relationship at that point. I don't think, and even now, I would say Nolan, Hannah, and Felicity are all in that. They're in their, they're in college. Like they're very young. I
Yeah.
felt like it took me until I was in my mid to late 20s to realize what I wanted in a partner and what I didn't want in a partner.
Yeah.
And so I think that's partly it as well.
Yeah, I think so. And I think that maybe that's a reason why he's attracted to Felicity is because she is pretty much the opposite of
Yes.
Felicity in terms of personality.
Yeah.
And but I just like I don't know, the entire episode I was just like rooting for Hannah. I was just like
Well, how could you not? She seems like perfectly kind
so
and
nice,
nice.
so
Yeah. And
nice. Yeah.
and reasonable too. Like she doesn't get upset when Noel's a little bit conflicted. She's like, "You go, I'll stay here. We'll figure this out later." She's very reasonable and level-headed.
Yeah. So Felicity is looking for Noel. She
Oh my god,
doesn't
I love this.
like that she doesn't have access to him 24/7. It is pissing her off. She wants
The pettiest of petty moves.
yeah, she sticks a sticky on his door and says, "Give me my pit back."
Yeah, give me back my pit. Period. No from Felicity. No, please. And like, girl, he was doing you a favor. He was gonna watch your Well, you were gone. You stop it. She is so petty, and I absolutely adore it.
Yeah, nothing's gonna happen with your pit, you know? It's fine.
She slams on the door. Bam! Give me back my pit.
Give me my pit back. It's like he's
stupid.
not like holding it hostage.
But I loved it. It's such a petty move. Then we're back to Ben, who finds out that like it's so weird. So he's talking to his mom and he's like, I don't have the ticket. Like, what's going on? And like he thought that his parents had gotten him a ticket and wanted him to come home for Thanksgiving. But it turns out no, like he apparently is not going home for Thanksgiving.
Why would his parents give him like the workaround with this? Like that is so rude. Like
I'm going to assume that based on what we know about Ben's family, that his mom wanted him to come home for Thanksgiving.
yeah.
She had like, and then so then she did something with Ben and told him that or made him think that. Then had a conversation with Ben's dad who was like, oh, but why now? Why not just wait till Christmas or whatever? And then his mom had to backtrack.
So they bought the ticket.
No, they didn't buy the ticket, I think is the thing.
You don't think so? I
don't know. Maybe not.
they like retracted the ticket. Like I am going to get you the ticket. Like
Can I get a refund, please?
yeah, and then we refund the ticket. Like
listen, I don't know. And I also it's worse because I don't understand how the technology is working in this.
I know. So wait, okay, so I think so they go to the travel agency, they say one ticket, and then she's like, go to
you have to go pick up your ticket.
Well, pick up your ticket at like city travel agency. But the issue is that there's 30 city travel agencies in New York City. So she doesn't specify which one. So Ben is spending all day going to every single city travel agency,
right,
being like, do you have my ticket? Do you have my ticket? Meanwhile,
yes.
Ben's dad's like, I don't want Ben to come home. So then his mom calls city travel agency and says, please retract the ticket.
Yes.
And then, but doesn't tell Ben that she took away the ticket. So he's still looking, but now has gone to every single city travel agency. And is okay. This is like, I'm just trying to figure it out. I think
it's very confusing, but the gist of it is Ben is not going home for Thanksgiving. He is now also going to be in New York City.
Yeah.
And Sean, I'm so sorry. This character cracks me up. He comes in and he says, he basically figured out a Thanksgiving loophole where he says, if you eat constantly before Thanksgiving, your stomach expands to 3 times its normal capacity.
Wow.
And so you need to have like more room. And so he has been eating, I can't tell what these things are. Is it a candy bar? Or is it like a protein bar?
Yeah, it's like a protein bar.
Yeah, so he throws one over to Ben and is like, here, you need to eat these. And yeah, I don't know. Sean is telling Ben about his brother's party. He's like, it's this huge, big, like Long Island thing. It's a big blowout. There's fireworks, kaboom. It's like, okay.
He's nuts.
Bren doesn't want to go to this type of shindig, I don't think.
No. He says thanks, but no thanks. I do not want to go to this party. But is this so I don't know. He's such like an interesting character, this guy.
I will say there is like something to his logic in terms of like certainly the more you eat, the bigger your stomach can handle. But I don't know that like you can do this only like 3 days before Thanksgiving and get the results that you're looking for.
I don't think so, but
yeah. But I love his trials, I love he tries it. He's willing to try anything.
Exactly. At least he's trying something. It's not a good something, but it's something.
It's something. And then we get, okay, I gotta admit, Sarah, this was one of my favorite scenes of the episode because of how extremely real it feels when you are hanging out with your bestie and like your bestie is very busy trying to do something and you are obsessing over something. It could be a guy. Most times it's like a person you're interested in, but it could be anything. And you keep bringing the conversation back to what you want to talk about. And I was like, this is too damn real.
Yeah. And I love how Julie is like, you know what? Like, I know where we're going with you. And just like the 9 other times that we worked through this is what I think.
I love this because Julie's like, are we back on Noel again? Calling Felicity out. And she's like, he and Hannah are getting readjusted. It's hard to get back on track. He's probably just overwhelmed. And Felicity's like, yeah, but like, it's just so weird that I go to knock on his door and he's like, not there.
Sorry, Felicity, that this man is not there for you 1,000 hours of the day, you know? Like,
so funny. It's so funny though. This is so real, Sarah. Like, we've all had these conversations where like, it could be anything. It could be like, yeah, but like, did you just see the way he looked at me in the hallway? Because like, what did you think that means? You know,
I've done this to you before.
You do this to me, yes,
a lot.
in the now times. We're both over 30, and this conversation.
I still do it. Be like, what do you think? Like, you know, this situation. You know exactly the situation.
Yeah,
I'm saying.
Yeah,
but,
what
like,
does this mean? And
yeah,
I'm like, I mean, oh my god.
There was a period. I'll say there was a period of time where I was like interested in someone.
Yeah,
and I was just like, every single thing that this person did, I was just like,
read and reread
what
and
does
reread
this
between
mean?
the lines. Yeah.
And I would like bring it up to you and you'd be like, well, like, this is what I think, but like, this is also what I think.
Yeah.
And I would be like, but why?
I don't know that you were ever super happy with my answers.
No.
Probably not, because I am like the Julie who is like, it's probably just this.
I was like, I mean, like, all Felicity wants and all I wanted was like you to be like, yeah, this person is absolutely obsessed with you.
Yeah, it's so obvious that he's in love with you. That's
exactly.
like all
that
that
would be like the only thing that would like satisfy.
Yeah, exactly.
And me.
But Julie's fucking busy because she's trying to find a free range turkey like for Thanksgiving. And I'm like, Julie, girl, you're in a dorm, okay? Like, it's fine if you literally go get like deli turkey and make a sandwich. Like,
it's not
go
fine.
Get a rotisserie chicken. Like, why are you doing this? How are you even going to cook a turkey? You don't have an oven.
It's not fine.
You can't microwave a turkey.
Nothing's fine. It's not fine.
Oh my gosh. But anyway, they decide that tomorrow Julie is going to go try to look for places while Felicity sets up. And I'm like, this feels terrible to be trying to get a turkey last minute, but okay, sure. And then Felicity is doing her like little skincare routine before she goes to bed, brushing her teeth. She looks up and bam, there's Hannah.
There's Hannah. And Hannah is like really frustrated at the situation with Noel and is starting to ask her for relationship advice, or at least she's like talking about like, oh, boys, like I can't read them, like they, you know, something's like clearly up but like in wrong, but like nothing's saying. And then Felicity does like, actually I really thought it was like very, very kind, and she parrots what Julie said, like sometimes people just need time for things to get readjusted, like, you know. And furthermore, she says, if it makes you feel better, I don't know if it would, but he talks about you all the time.
Which is a blatant lie, but two, a lie to make Hannah feel better. Which is okay. I know, Felicity, when we're talking about growth, we got to take baby steps, you know. This is massive, massive growth for Felicity.
Yeah.
To think of someone, not even just other than herself, but to think of helping the girlfriend of the guy that you may or may not have feelings for.
Yeah.
Massive.
It was huge. I was very, very, very pleased by Felicity in these moments and impressed.
Yeah, and she also lent her moisturizer because she forgot some, which is very nice of her. She did try to give her zit cream first and then be like, oh, I don't need this. It's like, bitch, we all need zit cream. Stop it.
Well, Jennifer Garner was like, I don't need this.
Yeah, no, my skin is perfect. Have you seen my gorgeous dimples?
Yeah.
Although I will say Jennifer Garner as a human being seems like a very down-to-earth person. And her daughter is identical to her.
Well, yeah. I mean,
isn't that crazy?
I mean, genetics, bro.
The genetics at work. So
no
yeah,
Ben Affleck in that child.
No, but I'm pretty sure I saw a picture recently of like their son who does look just like Ben Affleck.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's kind of like creepy. It's almost like when you meet those people who are like, I'm going to get married and have 2 kids, and the girl is going to look exactly like me, and the boy's going to look exactly like my husband. It's kind of like that, creepy.
Love it. Yeah.
So Felicity is like tossing and turning in bed. She can't sleep. She like does an angry stomp down the hallway, like putting on a sweater. And she's like thinking as she does. Like she's like heading to Noel's room. I don't know what she was going to do, but she decides against it, turns back, and then sees Noel getting out of the elevator. They like make eye contact for like the briefest of moments, and he looks away first, which like only infuriates her more.
Yeah. Where was she going? Like, no.
She was going to his room.
Yeah, but she knows that Hannah's there.
I know. I don't know what she was going to do.
Where was Noel? Like, just wandering New York City, contemplating his relationship? That's sketchy.
I think so. I mean, honestly, because I don't know what he's doing. It's night, right? Like, I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, it's nighttime. It's time to go to bed.
Yeah.
Hannah's already in bed. If I was in New York visiting my boyfriend and my boyfriend was like left me and I had to go to bed on my own, I would be so mad.
Yeah. Yeah. He like, so she like, Felicity does the little poke out into the hallway to see if he's still there. He's not. He goes into the room. He like kisses her shoulder as she's sleeping. And he like crawls in next to her and he's like, you know what? I was thinking it's a great idea. I want you to move to New York. So he's seemingly made his decision. She seems very happy about it. They kiss. I also am curious. Like, I almost wish this is like a nearly perfect episode for me. I just have to admit that first. Okay. I almost wish we had gotten a small scene of like what Noel was doing in that time period. Like, how did he come to this decision? You know what I mean? Like, what was he doing where he suddenly had this like epiphany of like, you know what? I should stick with Hannah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I guess I am curious as well, but we are not privy to this information. So we'll move forward. It is Thanksgiving Day. Felicity and Julie are up very early, starting their microwave food, which is disgusting.
Terrible. Yeah.
It all looks very gross.
But I did see they had stovetop stuffing, which you can make in the microwave and it's perfectly fine. And I'll do it on the stove, but you can do it in the microwave.
Well, but the thing about it is that you end it in the oven to make the top crispy. So I don't know.
Yeah. But either way, Julie, like she said, she ended up in this place in Chinatown and she got a free range turkey, but Felicity opens the bag and says it has fur. And so I don't know what this is, but it would immediately be going in a dumpster far, far away from me.
This is disturbing.
Yeah.
I don't even want to think about this.
No, we don't have to. They invite Hannah and Noel.
Yeah.
But Noel says, no, we have reservations at Ye Waverly. And Hannah seems more like she wants to go to the Thanksgiving dinner with them. She's like, it would be more homey. It would be, we could like hang out. And Noel's like, no, but I've been like looking forward to Ye Waverly. So we really should go there.
Once again, kind of sus. Like, what is happening? I guess like he wants to be away from Felicity.
He doesn't want the awkwardness. Yeah.
And she just wants to probably not be alone with Noel, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And everyone is looking so funny. Like Julie is looking from Noel to Felicity. Felicity is looking from Noel to Julie. Like, what is going on?
Yeah, it's very awkward. So we're back at Dean and DeLuca. It is probably now closed for the holidays. They're wrapping up. And they basically want Javier to give him a turkey, or
they need turkey advice. They need someone because they're like, you
where
have
do we get
distributors.
Turkey? Yeah,
like where can we get a turkey? And he says, well, no is back in the house, and so that's not okay with me. And so he tries to like give them all of these instructions.
Directions to make a turkey, and they're like, well, we don't have turkey, and he goes,
or an oven.
Or an oven. So he goes, you can't make recipe.
Yeah, you can't make the recipe. And she's like, well, we thought
cracks me up. Adam and I loved this line. So you can't make recipe?
Yeah,
it was so good.
It's so funny. Javier is like incredible. And they're like, well, maybe you could like tell us to get a free range turkey. And he's like, today? I ordered mine 2 months ago. And they're like, well, what if you came to dinner? And then they're like,
no,
oh,
they did not say this. Oh, did they say that?
They
Oh,
said
yeah, they
you
said
could come to Thanksgiving and bring the turkey.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then they're like, just kidding, just kidding.
Yeah. You're like, "Oh, no." And then he goes, "What time?"
Yeah, I love him. And can I just say the other thing I love about Javier is when he gives them all of these instructions and they literally look so dumbfounded. He's doing all of these like hand gestures as he's saying it.
But it was so easy.
Does
So it was like,
everything.
okay, the instructions to make the turkey was so easy. It was take a paper bag, put it in there, cover it with water, make sure it doesn't get dried out, make sure it's always moist, put it in the oven at 350
For 3
or
hours for 15 pounds.
yeah, and that was it.
Well, he also said you have to remove the innards, which he called remove the little gifts from the
The
inside,
little gifts.
which I loved
Ew.
because I'm like, it's the gizzards, it's fine, you know,
Ew.
it's disgusting.
Disgusting.
Although I've cooked them with the gizzards inside 1 or 2 times, and it was fine.
Ew.
You just pull them out after. Anyway,
Ew.
so he gets invited, and we love Javier. We're very happy. I'm so happy to have more of him on the show. Please give me more Javier with his yellow tinted glasses. I need more of him, please.
Yeah. He's phenomenal.
Mhm.
We get an interaction between Elena and her father, and Elena's leaving. She doesn't want any of this really. Like she doesn't like feel like her and her father are that close. Like they he goes basically she's like, I live 30 minutes away, like you've never even been to my dorm room. And
Yeah.
and basically they're both saying that like you haven't shown up for me.
Right.
And it goes both ways, which I totally agree with. Like they're both in the wrong. Like it both goes both ways, but also, I mean, I don't know. There's something to be said about like, you know, her father is the quote
He's
unquote
the parent.
adult in the room, the parent, and like he should be showing up for her
I
as
agree.
well.
I also am interested. I hope we get more on like we knew that she had a single parent, but we don't know the situation with her mom, I don't
Mhm.
think. So I would like to know more about like what happened and like how their relationship got to be this way. Maybe it's always been this way, but like it feels like there was like an inciting incident, you know, maybe the death of her mom or something like that. Like I don't know. Maybe her mom left. Like I truly don't know. But I would like more because I really do love Elena. And I like that we're getting individual scenes with Elena because to me, that says they're investing time in Elena. So she's going to be important enough that they are
Yes.
investing time in her.
Yeah, absolutely. Great read. I totally agree. And
Mhm.
I do like the fact that we will be getting more content from Elena.
Yeah.
So another Hannah and Noel scene.
They're trying to find apartments for her on this really old computer. And he's like, they're talking about computers and they have the age-old debate of Mac versus PC. And he
Yes.
is very thrown off because she used to be a Mac person and she's
Yeah.
not anymore. And
Yeah.
he's so thrown off by all of this.
Which means they are not compatible.
Apparently so. So I love that even in the 90s, the Mac versus PC debate was raging.
Mhm.
And I mean, I feel like we said this on the podcast like a gazillion times. You are a Mac person. I am a PC person.
Yeah.
We somehow live in harmony, except when a group text happens and I get yelled at
Well,
for having
okay.
Android.
I want to say
Yes.
that I have a best friend group chat, which you would be in if you weren't an Android user. So I just want you to remember that.
You just want me to feel so left out because you want me to get an iPhone simply so I could be in your best friend group chat.
That is what I'm saying.
Does it bother you? Well, we never text.
Yes.
Let's be clear. We don't text. We do not
Which is
communicate
weird.
via text. I
Which
don't
is-
find it weird at all.
I
don't text anybody. Maybe my dad.
Yeah, I think that's weird. I text.
I communicate via so many other means. And you know why? You know why I like to be able to communicate via other means? Because I can like search the history of my conversation.
You can do that elsewhere because if only you had a iPhone.
I will not get one.
But yeah, I just want you to remember that
I will forever remember that I am outside of your best friend group chat because I do not have an iPhone. Only iPhone users allowed. But Hannah's getting frustrated with Noel because he's playing with the magic 8-ball and like he's like jokingly giving her like answers from it. And like I'm with Hannah, like we're trying to like seriously look at apartments and you're like fucking around. Like be serious, bud.
I think we're both team Hannah. We're both like, you are a bunch of fuckery, you know? Like
Yeah.
we just want some
Yeah.
5 minutes of
Yeah,
seriousness.
he says, I'm just trying to make this fun. And she says, I'm just trying to find a place to live.
So
Team
reasonable.
Hannah.
Yeah. I know. I mean, I really do feel that way. Like you're fucking around and I'm just trying to like figure this like logistically.
Yeah.
And it could be fun if you participated. I'll
Yeah.
be like, oh, like I can see us like having like brunch outside this like area and like we can like make out on the kitchen countertops over here. Like it could be fun if you participated and stop fucking
Yeah.
around with that stupid ball. But he's like, oh, Felicity likes to fuck around with my
Yes.
balls.
Yes.
So
Because you know what? Felicity's younger and more immature than Hannah, the
yeah.
mature queen.
Yeah, so he's like,
Yeah.
I want Felicity to handle my balls, and I don't know, it's just like so much, so much
Such a
angst.
man just wants his balls played with.
Yeah, so then we Julie and Felicity are
No, you skipped the very, very important Ben Sean scene where they talk about Ben's fashion going to a party, and Sean is like, "You're dressed too casually for a Thanksgiving party."
I
Which
mean, sure.
I mean, the thing is, what the hell was Sean gonna wear? You know what I mean? Like, I don't remember. I'll have to look and see what he's wearing at the end of the episode because I'm like, he makes such a big stink about Ben wearing
No,
fancy
he
clothes.
just winds up coming in a t-shirt and shorts.
Oh, well, then what the hell?
Well, I mean, I think that he's like making it sound like his party is like a big thing. It is very funny.
Yeah.
Are you a casual holiday dresser or like do you need a fit? Because I need a
N-
fit.
No, I am very casual. Like, I would say, especially if it's just immediate family. I'm wearing like leggings and something
No,
comfortable.
I like having a holiday outfit.
Can I tell you, I tried. There were 2 family Christmas parties this year at my parents' house, okay? I
Yeah.
showed up to both in a very, very cute sweater. However, when you have 30 plus people in a house,
Mm,
it gets fucking hot. And so, you
yeah.
know what I did as a backup, and I'm so glad I did? I brought a maroon tank top. And you know what I rocked at both parties? A
The
maroon fucking tank
maroon tank top.
Hey, it's festive. It's red.
Beauty is pain.
Yeah, and I don't want to be in pain, so I'd rather be ugly.
Okay, so we're cooking, it looks like a disaster. Julie is working on her father's sweet potato recipe. It comes out of the microwave not looking right. She is
Yeah.
very upset, and her and Felicity have a heart to heart, which I mentioned earlier about like she just wants her parents to show up and like hug her and like
So
be there.
sad.
It's so sad, and Felicity is just being such a good friend being there.
Yeah, and
And
I love what Julie says too, where she says, "If I told them, if they knew what happened,
mhm,
that would change who I am to them, and they wouldn't look at me the same way
yeah,
again." Which, like, to be fair to Julie, any person that knows her in her general vicinity has been being like, "Are you okay? How are you feeling?" And she doesn't
sure.
want that from her parents. And so, like, gosh, it's not, again, not that this particular situation is relatable to me, but the idea that your parents would look at you differently if they knew X, Y, or Z is, I think, a very relatable subject to most people. And I love that Julie is just like, I'm so conflicted. Maybe I'll tell them at Christmas. And to your point, Felicity is just so comforting. She says, just tell them when you're ready to tell them. She's like sitting next to Julie, just generally being there for her, which I thought was really, really nice.
Yeah, I was really, really happy with Felicity and in this episode. And then we have Hannah come out and she like compliments the sweet potatoes and is like, is that mini marshmallows? They look so good. I'm going
Yeah.
out to the store. Do you guys need anything? Hannah's so nice.
Why is Hannah so nice? We love Hannah.
Hannah is so nice.
Yeah.
And basically they're like, no, thank you. And like the girls, like, I don't know, they're like, let's go. Let's
Yeah,
get this
we got a
figured
cooking to
out.
do. And it's
Yeah.
really awkward because Noel tries to talk to Felicity about the like magic 8 ball. He's like, I got Outlook Good. Did you ever get that? And Felicity's like, I have to go wash these. So she leaves, and Noel immediately looks at Julie, and he's like, oh, yeah, she's mad. And Julie's
Yeah.
like, well, you haven't been friendly.
No,
And
and
he's-
Julie's like, what do you think? Like, you've been a fucking asshole to us. Like, of course she's like not happy with you. And I love that from Julie as well, being like such a girl's girl for Felicity. Look at them.
Yeah, she's like, you should do better than what you're doing. Julie really is. I'm going to be honest and say Julie is one of the better friends on this show. I feel like from day one, she has had Felicity's back. She's been like, do you like Ben? Are you sure you don't like Ben? I'm going to go after Ben. You know what I mean? She's always there for Felicity. And I feel like finally Felicity is like sort of reciprocating it, even though, like we said, she certainly has ulterior motives.
Yeah.
With
Julie only bites when she is antagonized.
Yeah, exactly. And so Noel kind of says, he's like, whenever they're together, I just like, I freak out, I spaz out, I don't know what I'm doing. And so he leaves to find Felicity. Then we see it's like the timing of this is all incredible because Ben shows up and like Julie's really excited to see him, and she's like, oh, you look so nice. And Felicity is in the men's bathroom cleaning out this bowl
because I think that there's more sinks in there. I don't know what the reasoning is, but
who knows.
So she's
it's
in
literally
there
for the sole purpose of having Ben walk in on them.
So then Ben walks in, but
Noel walks in.
Oh, sorry, my apologies.
Yeah.
So Noel walks in. I like his outfit. He's wearing like brown pants and a black shirt. He looks good.
Yeah.
But so then they're having an interaction and they're like talking about like the awkwardness, and he's apologizing. And she
snaps at him. I love her saying, I thought I was just one of your kids in your dorm.
Yeah. So she's snapping back, and then he kisses her.
Well, okay, yes. This is everything, okay? Everything in like the drama department is what I mean. Because she says, like, all it takes is her saying, I hate not being able to talk to you. It's one of the worst things ever. And Noel, that like made his heart go aflutter. You know, he was like, oh, she wants to talk to me. And she's just like, don't be flattered. That's not what it's about. Like, for all I care, like your beautiful girlfriend can move to New York and it doesn't bother me. I'm not jealous. And she says, like, she keeps talking. And it's very obvious that she is jealous.
Very
and Noel kisses her.
Yeah. And I was like, no.
And it wasn't, let me be honest, Sarah, this is not your mother's peck. This was full on capital M-O make out.
Yeah, these two can kiss.
And yes, like okay, I'm getting spicy because let me just say, like, listen, Noel's an asshole for doing this, right? We all can admit Hannah is a lovely, lovely human being. Noel has done this already one time and he's doing it again. And it's awful while she's visiting, let alone. It's terrible.
He's a dog.
He is a dog. However, Scott Foley's fluffy little lips know how to kiss. It's so conflicting, Sarah, because you're like so upset for Noel for kissing her. And then they stop too. Here's the thing. They have a moment where they stop and they both are like the wheels churning in their head. Like, should we be doing this? Should we be doing this?
And then she goes after him. And I was like,
arms around the neck and everything. And they are going at it like ravenous animals who are starving.
Yeah. And then Ben walks into them. And for the third time, I screamed, no.
Yeah. Because he walks in, his mouth just drops open at what he's witnessing. And then my favorite part of this entire thing, is he has a teeny tiny smirk creep across his face because we know, Sarah, in the back of his mind, he's like, yes, this bitch will no longer be stalking me. Praise Jesus.
What a win. What a win for Ben.
So funny. This scene was literally everything to me.
It was really funny to react to because I was just like, I think I was like, but Hannah's so nice.
Yeah, she is. And it's a travesty. This is a fuck up of a major proportions.
Yeah.
And it was so incredible because let's be real, okay? We love Dawson's Creek. Joey ain't got it, all right? Katie Holmes can't kiss. She struggles. Felicity,
Yeah.
Carrie Russell, and Scott Foley
They
can kiss for fucking days. Their chemistry, oh my. Like
Yeah.
I'm excited to see. Obviously, we're eventually going to get a Ben and Felicity situation, and I want to see them make out because we need to judge against each other. Who in your mind, who do you think is going to have the better chemistry make out to make out comparison?
1000% Noel and Felicity.
I think so too. Scott Foley just looks like he would just like, oh my God, like
I would
rock
fall
your mouth off.
into those lips.
Those lips look like not necessarily experienced lips, but very gentle and yet aggressive lips. Do you know what I mean?
I'm sorry, I did not listen to anything that you're saying at all. I was
I
just
love-
thinking about Scott Foley.
If you've made it an hour and 17 minutes into this podcast where two 30-year-old adult women are just fawning over the idea of Scott Foley makeouts, welcome to our podcast.
Yeah, and he still looks good today.
Yes, and I will say, in my opinion, the actor who plays Ben, whose name I never remember, looks 20 times better now than he did when he was Ben. So I mean, the age has done them well. And plus, Scott Foley played a really lovely, incredible, actually both of them. This is very funny to me now. Noel and Ben both were on Grey's Anatomy, and both of them played characters I loved. So there you go. Little tidbit.
Okay.
So, oh my God, just incredible. And then Felicity walks out of the bathroom, and her hair, which is already like curly and a little bit nuts at times, looks insane.
Yeah, it looks like it's sex hair. It's sex hair.
It's sex hair.
How did your hair get so messed up?
She looks like she just came out from underneath, like, I don't even know. She crawled out from underneath a rock after 5 days. Like, she's so dazed and confused.
Yeah, it's so funny. So she comes out and she's just like all like flustered. And she walks into Ben and she's just like, oh, Ben, like, I didn't know you were gonna be here. And it's like, yeah, like my tickets got canceled. So like Ben's in the know. Felicity doesn't know that Ben's in the know. Then Hannah comes out and they introduce Hannah as
so awkward. No's girlfriend from Boston. Oh God.
And he's like, oh, girlfriend. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, really? Okay. Hi. I'm Ben.
Hi. And then the choreography of all of this is just so beautiful because then we get does Noel come out yet?
Noel comes out. So at this point, it is Ben and Hannah are meeting. Julie and Felicity are in the hallway with them. And then Noel comes out. And it's like, and then Hannah follows Noel. And then Ben is like, oh, okay, I'm going to go get some extra plates.
So they don't have enough plates. Like they're starting to stress out about like all these people here and they don't have enough plates. So then
there's this small moment when Ben leaves and it is just Julie and Felicity in the hallway. And I wish I had this as a GIF where Felicity looks at Julie and she does the like funniest I'm innocent, nothing happened smile I've ever seen. It was so funny. Carrie Russell is an icon. It was so funny because she's full on showing teeth.
Yeah, good face. She's like, doesn't she say something like, I'm gonna go have like a mental breakdown now?
She's like, yeah, she I'm trying to think of when she says it. Like it's not until after so Javier and Elena show up.
Yes, but the biggest turkey that's ever existed.
I don't know how he's carrying this thing like a normal person.
Yeah, it's huge. And then Elena comes in and they're like, Elena, what are you doing here? And she's like, I am here because like I didn't want to be home. Like, what's going on? And she gets invited to the dinner, but then Javier comes in and is like, this will not do. You need candles. Where's your candles?
Him. He's like, I need to do something with this. We need candles. Where are the candles? We can't have the dinner without candles.
He's like, we need to decorate. I need to like.
And he sasses Julie, and he says, "Oh, are you gonna get dressed? You look like you're ready for basketball."
No, he was like, you look good, but for to play basketball.
King Javier.
That cracked me up so
especially because this is such a typical 90s shirt where it's like some random jersey with the number 0 on the front. Like it makes no sense.
Yeah.
But it's good, so funny.
But to play basketball.
And this is when Julie's like, oh, where are you going to Felicity? And she's like, oh, I'm going to hyperventilate. I'll be right back.
Yeah. It is chaos. So
it's everything though. Like I love a scene where it's like so much is happening and like there are certain people in the know and certain people not, and they're weaving in and out of the scene. It's everything. It's everything.
Yeah, so good, so enjoyable. Like I said, the choreography was just like beautiful because like the way that like people come in and come out and like come through the elevator at the exact right time and like open the door during it's just everything just had to work out in this very specific way that is so satisfying and it was just very well done, honestly.
It was so perfect. And then so then we go back to Noel and Hannah. And Noel, Hannah says, I'm feeling kind of tired. Like, are you sure you want to go to dinner? And Noel's like, well, listen, I guess if you want to eat here, we can. There's room. And I'm just like, you just made out with another participant in this dinner. And now you want to stay here? This
You
is crazy dog.
dirty dog.
Dirty dog. And yeah, and then Hannah's like, okay, yeah, sure. And then she asks about, oh, have you tried the PC lately? They're not so bad. And then again, more argument about PC versus Mac and all of that nonsense.
Yeah, just showing how
yeah.
uncompatible they are.
Yeah. And yeah, Hannah's just like, oh, is this crazy? Like what we were talking about doing. And this is when Hannah admits that, well, when I just went out now, I was actually making a phone call to a guy at Northwestern who I've been sort of spending time together. Nothing's happened. We haven't slept together or anything, but I like him. And she has the same excuse as Noel, where she says, I thought it was because I missed you and I was lonely. And I thought I would get here and see you and we make this plan, but it doesn't feel right. And they both kind of agree. Now, my question to you, Sarah, I am, of course, tinfoil hatting this situation.
Yeah.
Do you think that Hannah is telling the truth, or that she does have a guy back at Northwestern that she really likes, or does she sense that Noel is not all in on this and is giving him an easy out?
Oh, I think that she does have somebody. I think so.
I kind of think so too.
It's not like, I don't think that's to the point that like Noel and Felicity got, like with making out or being intimate, but I do think that she has something going on.
I do too, because when they first interacted, like with the makeout and then they both stopped, it wasn't like he just stopped. It felt like they both weren't into it.
Yeah, there was some hesitation on both parties.
And Noel does admit, he says, oh, I've sort of had the same thing. And Hannah says, have I met her? Never mind. I don't want to know.
That's the good move, honestly.
Oh,
like,
God.
Like obviously your curiosity wants to know, but it's such a better move to just not know.
Well, especially, I mean, nowadays, the move is to not know and then pretty much immediately go on their social media after you break up and see who they're dating.
I really behoove you to not do that.
I'm just saying, people do that.
It is not satisfying
in
the slightest.
Yeah, it's not the move.
It never is.
And so yeah, she says the stupid thing is I still love you, but things are different now, aren't they? And Noel says, yeah, they're different. So we get the vibe that like things are they're not gonna last.
No. Of course they're not going to last. They're done. No. They're cooked.
Yeah, that's it. They both, I mean, they agree they love each other, but like, I mean, you can love someone and still not be with them. Shit just happens. Life happens. Circumstances happen. So Ben is back at his apartment and Sean is just like housing junk food on the couch. He has Fritos, he has Doritos, he has sandwiches, he has soda, he has everything.
What a lucky guy.
And yeah, he's like, oh, what happened to the party? Like, what are you doing here? And Sean's just like, oh, I just didn't feel like going. And he's like, I just wasn't into it. But he does say, here's the thing. He says, oh, I called my cousin and said that I just wasn't into it. And Ben's like, wait a minute, I thought it was your brother. And he's like, yeah, well, I just called my cousin. It just sounds like, okay, did he really not get invited anywhere? Like, yes. Is that the situation? That's so sad, though.
It's because he's eccentric and he has no friends.
Oh, it makes me so sad.
Yeah, he's a weirdo. So he had nobody.
Yeah, and I love this though, where Ben's like, well, hey, why don't you like come with me? And he's like, oh, can I go like this? And he's like, yeah, of course.
Yeah, which means like he was dressed like kind of like a slobolob. So, which is like funny because he was like, that's exactly what he was like don't dress like you have to dress fancy. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm glad that Ben was there for his little buddy.
I love this. And he still has the like Kodak vending machine in the apartment too, which made me happy.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty silly. Um, and then Felicity walks in the bathroom and overhears Hannah crying in one of the stalls, which is like so sad and breaks my heart because Hannah is such a sweet person. And Felicity asks if she's okay. And she like, again, I'm just gonna give a little bit of credit to Felicity, even though she did a very bad thing, a very, very bad thing. She hands Hannah some like toilet paper, and Hannah, I feel bad for Hannah because not only is like this a really tough thing to go through, but she's essentially going through it alone because she doesn't have a support system here. No
No.
support system is here.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that like I don't know, like I think it's like really hard to um I don't know, like I kind of went through this like to break up with somebody that you were with for a long time, but then like also have like someone like yourself, but then like it's all a big risk. And also like to have that other like your ex also have somebody just feels like a slap in the face too. So like you're mourning the fact that like you're breaking up and things are
Yeah.
changing, but also you're mourning the fact that like this person's like not interested in you anymore, which also hurts. But and like I don't know, like assuming like she does, and to know that like I think that she knows that's Felicity.
Oh, she figures it out because like Hannah says like, "Oh, it's so weird how things change." And Hannah says, "He's a great guy."
Yeah,
And Felicity says, "I know."
yeah.
And I mean, Hannah's very smart. And
Mhm.
plus it's not like Noel is the smoothest guy ever.
No,
So
no.
she
So
certainly has figured out that it's Felicity.
yeah, and it probably also hurts that like once again, like Felicity is the exact opposite of her,
Yes,
and that
yes.
must feel like really shitty too because it's just like, oh, you just I don't know, like things change, like we grew apart. You have interest in somebody that is like the exact opposite of me. So
Yeah.
it's a very sad situation. And yeah, like she's there on her own, um, without a support system. Like
Yeah.
what do you think that Felicity is thinking in this situation? Like, does she think that they got found out, that they just made out? Do you think that Felicity thinks that, like, oh, he
So,
broke up with
yeah.
Hannah for me? Like, what do you think Felicity is thinking in
This
this
is a
moment?
great question. I think when Felicity first sees Hannah crying, she thinks we've been found out. And she's like, but I want to offer some support and some toilet paper to wipe your tears. But I think that when Hannah says he's a great guy, I think Felicity is like, oh, she doesn't know we just made out. Cause I don't think that she would be saying that. Like,
Right.
I think she thinks, like, obviously it's over between them and Noel picked me. And that's why she's crying. And so she feels like she has the one-upsmanship
Hmm.
on like she won over Hannah, basically.
Right. Yeah. So you think that maybe she thinks that Hannah, that Noel just broke it off with Hannah
Yeah, I think so.
because he has feelings for Felicity, which
Yes.
is partially true, but like it's
He didn't make the
not.
first move. Hannah did.
No, exactly. It's like not actually like full credit. But
Yeah,
she kind
exactly.
of just feels like, oh, like I won because like he just chose me, which is kind of
Yeah.
funny. Like that's why she's like being so kind to Hannah because she thinks that she's like one up to.
Won over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Hmm.
can I just say right here now before we end this episode, because we're very close to the end, Noel is craven. Noel is a coward. And I am, as much as, again, much love to Scott Foley for those pillowy lips.
Mm, hmm.
Noel, the character, is a coward
Oh
because
yeah.
look at like
Yeah.
literally all of these situations, right? He makes one move on Felicity and then immediately is like, oops, I have a girlfriend. And then he waits until she is like, I miss talking to you, and then just assaults her face with kisses, and then like continues to do so. And then instead of doing the, like right thing and just saying to Hannah what's going on. He waits for her. He like says, "No, I'm just going to live with this lie and you're going to move to New York." He waits for her to say, "I don't think this is a good idea. I've met someone else." He doesn't even tell her everything. Not that he at that point it's kind of just salt in the wound, but like he's just like, "Oh yeah, me too, I guess."
Yeah.
And that's it.
He's a dirty dog. That's
Dirty
what it is.
dog. And
Dirty
he's
dog.
like, he's the quote unquote nice guy.
Yeah.
Fuck off. He is not a nice guy.
No, not in this situation, not at all. So, we then have like a little ending montage. Everybody's at the dinner table. Hannah's feeling better. She's no longer crying. The sitting arrangements are very interesting here. We have Hannah's next to Noel. Noel's next to Julie. Julie's next to Felicity.
Who's at the head of the table.
Who's at the head of the table, of course. And then I think, is it
Ben is on the other side of Felicity, and Sean is sitting next to Ben.
And then Javier.
And then Javier is cutting the turkey.
Elena's at the
other
there as well. So it's just like it's very interesting. Like Nola's still sitting next to Hannah.
It's very awkward. Yeah. But everyone seems to be having like a really great time. Like they have plenty of candles. The avocado pit is like the centerpiece.
Beautiful, stunning.
Questionable. I don't know what Javier has to say about that, but I have a feeling he would like it very much.
No.
And yeah, everyone's like smiling and passing food. And there is a moment like this look between Hannah and Noel, kind of like we both know it's over, but this is our last time together sort of thing. So like we're gonna make the best of it. And yeah, and then Noel is just staring at Felicity because like when is he not?
He's a creep. And then open up the elevator door and Elena's dad's there.
Yes, oh my gosh, I was not expecting this, I have to admit. And when it happened, I was so happy. Like he shows up and everyone's looking at him, and Elena looks so surprised, and she goes over and they talk, and I was just like, "Oh, this is like exactly what she wanted."
Well, this is exactly what Julie wants, and we get a shot of Julie looking over, and it's just really sad. It really breaks my heart, and I think that this is probably going to be like a motivator for her to try to find her mom, which is one of the reasons why she came to New York. I'm going to stop this beautiful moment, and I sent you a picture.
I saw exactly the same thing when I was watching the episode.
We have seen Elena's full ass breasts through. That's the sentence.
The gold shirt is not. There's so much nipple.
Well, it
must be cold.
Thin. No, but like the curvature of her boobs as well. Like I just saw her entire boob.
Yeah,
they look great. I mean, I'm just like applauding her, but like I was shocked. I'm like, this is like you very revealing. But anyway, I could not. And then on top of that, we see this scene where like Javier's like pushing away like the food that's trying to be passed to him.
Yeah,
I thought was very funny, but heartwarming moment. And then I think you said it best where or maybe it was Lindy.
It was our friend Lindy who was like, "This is such a beautiful moment," and then fucking Sally started talking.
We don't need Sally.
We really, I honestly, can you please just get rid of Sally? It makes no sense. We don't care about her. We've never met her. Why do I give a single shit about how she celebrated Thanksgiving?
Yeah, I don't even want to reward Sally and in any of it because I really don't care.
No, it would have been so much better if we had Felicity doing this voiceover or Julie doing this voiceover, talking about her found family. Because let's be real, like this is Julie's found family, and she's having she's the one who's going through it. She's the one who's like, I don't want to go home and talk to my parents and have to tell them everything. And also she's looking for her mom, right? So there's like that situation happening as well. So it's like, why wouldn't this be a voiceover either by Felicity or by Julie about found family? Why do we have to hear from
Yeah.
fucking Sally?
I'm really displeased with the Sally stuff because I really just could not give a shit.
No,
And-
no one cares.
And I'm very curious how they're going to try to make us care. Because it's gonna happen. They're gonna try.
They're gonna have to. Yeah. I truly don't know, but all I know is like Sally ruined this moment for me, and I'll forever resent her for it.
Yeah, I hate you, Ghost Sally. Why do you have to
Yeah.
do this?
You know, why are you like this? But that was the episode. It was honestly incredible. I think it was my favorite episode of the season so far.
I agree. Yeah,
Yeah.
excellent episode. I really liked it. I really, really enjoyed like every part of it. It was just
Mhm.
great all around.
Yeah. So good. Are you ready to get into some feedback that we have from
Yeah,
the listeners?
absolutely.
All
Do
right,
it
let's
up.
hear from DBK.
What up, though, ladies? We have a Thanksgiving episode. This one, I'm pretty sure you guys are going to be pretty excited about this one because I feel like you guys are a big Thanksgiving episode people. So this is the first Thanksgiving episode in Felicity. Maybe there'll be more. I mean, Thanksgiving happens during the school year, so it's probably a good possibility. We finally get to meet Hannah, who is the one and only Jennifer Garner, who, couple fun facts about Jennifer Garner. At one point, she was married to Scott Foley in real life.
I did not know that.
She plays the main character in Alias, which is another J.J. Abrams joint, which is like basically based off Felicity. If you've ever like heard the interview where he says that the idea for Alias
Interesting.
came from like, what if Felicity was a spy? Yeah, funny stuff. We get some more Javier basically at the end of this episode. I would say we get like basically the crew is all around minus 2 people, 1 person we haven't met yet, and
Interesting.
obviously Megan's not there. But yeah, this
Megan
is
would
a
never be
good
invited.
episode. Lots of fun stuff. I'm sure you guys are gonna be like going crazy about the whole Noel Felicity thing, and like,
We did.
what are we gonna do about the plate? That always cracks me up. And then Ben's reaction. Oh, this is Noel's girlfriend. Oh, really? Oh. Anyways, this is a great episode. Javier, funny line to Julie, you're gonna change when she's in her little jersey. Yeah. Anyways, next week, I'm very excited. Another good episode coming. So I can't wait for that one. And yeah, until next week, ladies, peace.
We indeed did freak out.
Very,
over the
yeah,
kiss.
very, very good. So many good lines. We loved this episode.
It was so good.
So fun.
And then we also got an email from our lovely listener Linda. Sorry, lovely listener Linda was very hard for my mouth to say.
The alliteration is quaking.
She says, "Hey ladies, what's Thanksgiving without something juicy? A quick behind the scenes morsel for this episode. Scott Foley and Jennifer Garner actually met filming this episode and were married for around 3 years. I didn't know they were married for 3 years. Jennifer also met J.J. Abrams filming this, who would go on to cast her in Alias, which is rumored to be the reason for their divorce.
What?
Word going around. Oh my God. Linda, this is everything. Word going around back then was that allegedly Scott didn't handle her rise to fame very well. Jennifer later said she regretted getting married so young and the trajectory they were on was bound to implode.
Wow. Scott Foley is a jealous bitch.
I guess so.
Fucking.
And Linda also says, one more thing. I'm super excited for you guys to finally meet one of my absolute favorite characters in the next episode. So that must be the character that DBK was
one of which, yeah.
One of. So that's really exciting. Thank you so much for sending that in. I love the tea, Linda. My gosh, love that. Also, can I just say, Sarah, I'm gonna reveal the next episode title to you.
What's that?
And then I might have a little bit of like a prediction.
Okay.
The next episode is titled Finally.
Oh, we be fucking.
That's exactly what my brain went to.
We be fucking.
We be
finally.
fucking.
Yeah.
Scott Foley fucks.
Wow.
So we gonna see him fuck Felicity. A lot of F's happening. Foley fucks Felicity. I think that's what's gonna happen.
Okay.
So season 1, episode 10
Wow.
next week. And guess what? Guess what? We're not
What?
alone.
What?
We're being joined by the one and only lovely Todd the librarian. Just some behind the scenes stuff. If you're going to send in any feedback, you're going to have to get it in real quick this week because we know this drops on Monday and we are going to be recording tomorrow, Tuesday, the 16th. So if you want your feedback heard, if you want us to get your feedback, send it in by the evening of the 16th in order for us to get it on the podcast.
I'm going back to East Coast.
Back to your roots.
Back to my roots.
Yeah, your Joycey roots.
Yeah, I am sick and tired of the -6-degree weather in the Midwest.
Yeah, let me tell you, no snow on the ground here. We're
it is
just rain.
Freezing, frigid cold.
Yeah. So make sure you send in your feedback if you want us to get it. I've been loving Felicity. I'm really excited for next episode. I feel like obviously having a guest makes me think something big happens. The title of it being finally feels like, oh, finally Felicity and Noel are getting together.
Todd to talk about sex for an hour.
I mean, I really don't know because it could be. I mean, in my predictions, I had guessed sex wouldn't come until later. I have Felicity loses her V card with Noel on episode 14, and you have Felicity loses her V card with Ben on episode 22. So we'll see. Either way, I feel like finally is like finally they're able to be together or something.
Yep.
So a lot of exciting stuff to look forward to. Of course, if you somehow missed that we're covering Buffy, the Vampire Slayer, we're doing that as well. Those podcasts drop on Thursdays. We record on Mondays. So if you want to send in feedback on Buffy, feel free to do that as well. We're enjoying that really fun ride. New year, new us. Kind of. And then Empire Records, we talked about a little bit in this podcast that dropped earlier this week. And That Thing You Do is coming up. We're going to be covering That Thing You Do later this month. So that's really exciting. Anything else you want to add, Sarah?
No, I'm just really excited to see what comes next in Felicity. I think that it definitely jump started my excitement for the show. So I'm here for the mess.
I know I might. This might be one of those occasions where, like, as soon as we're done recording, I go watch the next episode, just because I'm like, what is going to happen?
You're curious.
I'm very curious. So of course, if you want to send in feedback or get in touch with us at Shit90spod on Twitter and Instagram, shit90spod.com or shit90spod@gmail.com is how you can reach us. Lots of different ways. But we appreciate anybody who listened or sent in feedback. Thank you so much. We'll be back next week with season 1, episode 10. Finally. I'm really excited. I can't wait to see what happens. But thank you all for listening. We will talk to you all next time. Bye.
Just ask. Shit 90 shows taught me.
Shit 90 Shows Taught Me was not filmed before a live studio audience.